Right now, we're going to welcome our guest for today. We've got Anthony Sutardja. He is the CEO and co-founder over at Parade. And Anthony, first things first, thank you for being here, and thank you for being a fan of the show. I know Grace has talked a lot about how much you like this content that we're putting out, and so we've just got to give you a big shout out for being a fan.
I'm a fan, and thanks for having me on.
Of course. And, we were actually talking about a couple of weeks ago how important it is what Parade is doing to help brokers in particular, shippers as well, manage their capacity. And I guess I'm interested, what are the biggest hurdles that are keeping brokerage teams from scaling their own capacity management systems? And what is the real problem that Parade is looking to help fix with those systems?
Yeah, I guess capacity could mean two different things in that question. It could be people capacity in terms of how many dollars per head or am I moving, or how many loads are you moving per day per person, or where we also corely focused on here at Parade, which is in truckload capacity management. How do I find trucks for my loads? And I think those two are very related in the world of freight brokerage. The more you can move more efficiently, the more revenue dollars you bring in as a freight brokerage, the more better you can serve your customers. But the challenge with brokerage operational flows on the coverage side today is that they operate in a way oftentimes where things just don't scale, even when they have the technology in front of them. You see, and Grace, you coming from the brokerage realm, there's sticky notes out on the desks. There's notepads there. People are jotting down the key lanes that they heard that the last driver told them. And so the challenge is that, we have a lot of processes that are ad hoc, and that's because this is such a relationship-driven, conversational-driven business, and that's what's made things hum. How do we make things hum at scale, though? And so here at Parade, where we really focus on is in managing a broker's truckload capacity and how they go find trucks for their loads. What tools do you need to collaborate in real time? What tools do you need to store all that carrier data in real time and have it constantly evolve so that it's not just on Grace's notebook over there or Anthony's notebook over here, so that we can just bring real-time collaboration in? And that's a really overused, overloaded word, but at the same time is the crux of the solution of how do you enable scale for capacity, as technology will help bring these processes, tame the data, tame the carrier data in one place. And I think another part of this is also the best-in-class technologies will have to incorporate a lot of the best-in-class processes that the top-tier brokerage firms out there have really come to be accustomed to. So part of it is a technology problem, but in our lens, when it comes to scale, it's also a process problem too. I think in our last show, you talked about the split model and becoming the way of the future. Well, not all brokerages operate that way. And so how do you help them really shift into that gear really easily? And technology should make it really easy to change different process workflows and bring in best-in-class processes into simple, easy-to-use UIs. And so I think it starts with technology. It's a process problem, but they're all related.
So, Anthony, I've got a broker boyfriend, and he's got like 3 big shipper clients that send him a ton of freight, some high dollar freight and stuff that they need really good strategy for. And there's some days where I watch him like plan it out and everything's great and it's cherry. And then there's some days where he's using this just post and cover method, scrolling it down in the notebook, as you mentioned. So can you talk a little bit about, if you're a broker and you're kind of in this hybrid space of like, okay, one day I'm employing a strategy, one day I'm just throwing it at the wall and hoping that it sticks. Can you talk about how you can kind of make that mindset shift to one side or the other, or if there's value in keeping it 50-50 and being flexible versus strategy versus just trying to get stuff covered?
Getting freight covered in our minds here requires 4 different characteristics, and it's different for every broker's book of business. But it kind of boils down to what level of trust and safety do I need from the carrier? What level of process do I feel good about on maybe the shipper qualification, and they have to be vetted to go to this specific DC, or did they have the right insurance? Price flexibility being the third, where can I move and work with this carrier or the capacity that I'm about to get on different pricing as the markets these days go up and down, and are they actually available? And so I think these 4 characteristics, maybe, your freight does work pretty well on a spray and pray model. We just need to get more efficient. And how do you get out the DAT, but how do you do that a little more efficiently? I think the way we think about that here is that there's 3 levers to play with. One, you could choose your customers wisely, and that narrows what types of customers you might serve, but that flexes on maybe some don't care about safety. Maybe some of your customers do care a lot more about safety and how you choose to run your business there. Driving quality with your carrier base, though, is what we here at Parade really focus on in terms of, all right, if you can't control what customers you have, what you can control is driving towards more reuse with certain types of carriers. And for certain lanes and certain customers, how do you drive more safety processes in checking through the right carriers and understanding what locations they like to run, what they like to do, how do we constantly profile all the data about those carriers. And that can also be done with manual processes, but our hope is that with our technology, we can drive towards more carrier reuse. And I think the last piece is the last lever to play with is just getting more efficient in all 4 of these characteristics. All right, how do I assess trust really quickly? How do I assess the process in place to enable the shipper qualification to go very smoothly? How do I adjust rates with my core carriers and moving up and down on the pricing as gas is crazy right now? I know they're hurting. How do we, come to a mutual compromise with my end customer too, to help drive towards a realistic pricing where everyone's winning? And so I think those again can be process driven, but if you can leverage technology in a way that plugs into every single one of those business processes and helps just make it a little bit easier, maybe that RMIS check can happen automatically on some of these inbound quotes coming in from carriers and not having to then look it up manually and find that right carrier faster. We think that a solution should be able to, there's going to be all types of those types of businesses, and it's very customer driven as well, or the broker's customer driven as well. Hopefully varying these different degrees of characteristics and the technology and processes that a brokerage has can really make the most of it in driving towards what ends up being best for that broker.
Yeah, and as you clean up those processes, you're gonna be able to get paperwork in faster, invoice your customers better. It all trickles down into so many different areas of the business, and I think that element is sometimes lost when you're talking about capacity management strategy. It's not just about getting reps to book more loads, but it's about the overall processes that could be improved through this type of management, this type of strategy. And I really think that the offerings that you have is definitely the reason why you guys just experienced this latest round of funding. And with that as well, you had a number of really interesting strategic investors and different people coming to the table at Parade to help with this capacity management strategy for the industry as a whole. We're looking at Redwood Logistics, Jones Capital, Jason Dubois, and Jet McCannels over at Project 44, Shannon Hart at Mercury Gate, Zach Fredericks from Load Smart, Eric Rempel, right, from Redwood. Why do you think that, and you actually were quoted saying that capacity management is a neutral platform that needs this type of collaboration. Why do you think it needs this type of collaboration in order to keep improving? Why is this such a hard concept for so many different huge freight tech companies to really secure and figure out a solution to?
Yeah, I think that that quote is in context of both from a freight tech partnership standpoint, and I can talk more about that in a second, but also just from a freight brokerage standpoint, where we like to think of ourselves much like the country of Switzerland. People around the world feel comfortable placing their capital in Switzerland. And I think we've historically done similar for freight brokerages and enabling them to host all of their capacity management execution on our platform. And that's because we've created a product, a company culture, in an environment that brokers can still, our customers compete vigorously against each other, yet they're all using this single platform that keeps their data safe as well. And so that is important to us. It's instilled in our culture as well to ensure that we have this neutral playing ground where everyone benefits from technology, but in a way that helps them better compete as well. I think to your latter question on the freight tech partners, we're super excited to have these folks join us on this journey, and primarily because they align with one or more of our values, where we're driving towards being really customer centric. And I think it takes building coalitions and uniting stakeholders across the industry to really bring what's best for our customers. What does the best in class visibility solution look like when integrated with a capacity management execution platform? And when you can find the truck, book the load, get it tied into visibility tracking, that's a great win for the brokerage and driving towards more digitization as we're looking to invent and challenge the status quo. And we know that we can't drive industry-wide change alone. We need our partners as well to help solve this end-to-end system for what brokerages need to go digital.
Anthony, this 30 minutes with you has gone so quickly. So before we let you go today, I just want to ask really quickly about the value that having investors like this from outside companies in the freight tech industry brings to Parade, and the strength that it builds into your guys' scaffolding when that comes to attracting top tier talent or building out your offerings for your customers. Can you just touch on that really quickly?
We're super excited for these strategic investors, as well as Menlo being our lead investor and our past round of funding. And that's really helping us carve out towards our vision here, where we want to help our customers achieve more digital freight. We want to enable our partners to have deeper connectivity. So how do we work better with our existing partners like DAT, like Keep Trucking, like Trucker Path, and all these different freight tech capacity networks out there. And lastly, we get very excited in bringing new capabilities to our customers and helping them go win more business, as for the first time, our customers have all their capacity data centralized in one place. And so we think that there's a huge opportunity in how do we help them connect that to winning spot business or some new RFP business. And so more to come from the Parade team to do that. We are growing aggressively as over the last 60 days here, we've doubled our team size. And so we're very excited to put the funds to use, and we're excited to embark on our journey here.
Congratulations, you guys. Well deserved. And I'm really excited to watch your product suite grow and hear feedback from customers and yourself as you can continue to deploy that capital. So thank you for coming on, and we'll definitely have you on again soon.
Thanks for having me.
Go check out Anthony on LinkedIn. Go check out Parade on LinkedIn and online as well.